Hi, my name is Corvus.
And I'm Miss Cheesecake Cosplay.
Today we're going to talk about the cosplays we made for Blade Soul. Let's get started. The thing that first attracted me to cosplay was just seeing all these characters that were just so badass, especially like female characters that are warriors or they're armored or they just have a really like strong protagonist role in a game or a film or what have you. It really inspired me and I wanted to be those characters. So I just decided to make cosplay of my favorite badass female characters, and that's how I got started.
Since I was little, I've loved dressing up, and my first costume ever was actually from Star Wars. I did an Imperial officer, and I made it out of felt and black clothes I had in my closet.
I made a couple years ago Farah from Overwatch. It took me about 3 months to make. I love wearing her because before, she's a really badass character and I love being her.
My favorite cosplay I've ever put together is my Final Fantasy XIV White Mage. I am really happy with how it came out. It came out beautifully. The only problem is I can only wear it in the winter because it is a tiny bit warm.
When I choose a character to cosplay, I get my inspiration from either their design or the story that they're in. Because making cosplay is such an arduous task, I really have to have a connection to the character and really identify with one of their attributes or something they've done to keep up the motivation.
If I really, really, really like their outfit, I will do whatever I can to make it, or I will at least gather all the resources I need to make it if I ever do decide to make it. Sometimes the constraint is, oh, I'm interested in this character, and then I'm not.
When I think a cosplay is completely ready to go and finished is when I can look at the design of a character and feel that I've correctly and accurately represented it. Like, even if I have to change a couple things to make it more practical to wear, as long as I feel like I've captured the essence and spirit of the character, that's when I consider it complete.
Usually I consider my costume completely done when I run out of time to work on it. I will continuously add to costumes. My White Mage has had a bunch of things added to it over the years since I've made it, but for the most part, it's when I run out of time that it's done.
So I cosplayed Yeoharan for Blade Soul. Most of it I sewed together using pleather I got from the fashion district, actually right here in Los Angeles. There's a lot of this red trim on a lot of the outfit that I actually had to trim down from very long fur. They didn't have any short fur at the fashion district. You know, it's just what you gotta do when you have cosplay. For the life of me, I could not find a bicorn pirate hat, so I had to make my own out of a sun hat. So there is a sun hat under here that I just covered with pleather. This was actually made out of a pleather leotard. The actual Yeoharan's vest is a little more risque, so we wanted to tone it down a little bit. The belt I had to make completely from scratch. It's actually foam covered with fake leather. This anchor right here is made of EVA foam. Very lightweight. You can sit on it, it won't break. And then the gun, this is actually a DP38. It's an actual gun, which was really nice. So I just had to look up the model file for it and I could get it 3D printed, which is what I did. I think that's basically it with this outfit.
So I'm Miss Cheesecake Cosplay and I did the Zen Archer. I was given about 3 weeks to make this. So I had to get my fabric locally. The fabric they had I did not like, but they had this great satin. But the problem was when you photograph the satin, it was too shiny. So what I did is I used the back side of the satin fabric so that way it still looked nice and it actually kind of resembled the art. I made this out of Lumen's foam clay, and it took a week to dry because it was such a thick piece. This actually took me longer than it should have to make because I didn't want it as stiff as it came out, but it came out really stiff. The skirt I made in 7 hours. I sat down one day with 7 yards of fabric and it looked great at the end and I was very happy with it. And for the bow, It was the most ambitious prop I've ever done, and it's made out of EVA foam, Lumen's foam clay, and PVC, and its core is an aluminum core. All right, I believe that just about wraps everything up.
Be sure to check out the other HyperX Behind the Cosplay series, and we'll see you next time.